What is up, everyone? It's Special Game 75, picture turn play Sakura Succubus 5, Part 7. Let's get started. Good. I'm glad Yui is one of a kind. Yui's the pain enough to contend with a let alone introducing a second. She is one of a kind, but she can still kick our asses anyway. Oh, I wish the two Lady Yui's exist. Think of all fun I could get up to then. Yeah, all fun. You can be serving them for hell of a joy for yourself. Hazel giggles while Marina pulls a face. I don't want to think about what fun your twisted little mind is cooking up. You have no self-control whatsoever. When it comes to pretty girls, you mean? Hazel grins. You be right on the set score, I don't. Please, don't sound so proud of that. I really am curious now. Though, who do you prefer, Hiroki, Lady Yui, or Stephanie? Well, now let me think. Oh God! Look, out of all things, we already know Stephania is the person of this place, and proves we met her from, you know, that game, the Karuta. So we have to go with you on this one. I reply after one of only a brief pause. I've known her a lot longer than I've known Stephania. After all, which isn't to say that Stephania isn't sweet. Yui is a jealous type, though I think she'd be upset if I said anything else. Huh, you sure you have Lady Yui's number? Hazel twitters. Yui is jealous, horribly so, but I think that I add to her appeal. It makes her like 10 times cuter. Does it now? Marina raises an eyebrow. I can't say I see the appeal in volatile and secure one myself. Perhaps I'm simply too mature for histrionics. It's not to say that you're too mature, Marina. You can't just see Lady Yui appeal because you're devoid of love. Lady Yui is the best waifu, and those are cold hard facts. First time hearing you said best waifu, huh? Just say it over. Just face it already. Hazel and Marina bickers between one another for a few moments. I largely on the subject of Yui versus Stephania before Marina casts her eyes back in my direction. I'll put our own taste to one side. If life is in the palace, and it's beginning to tire you, Hiroki, would you care to visit Rosenberg with Hazel and me? We were planning to explore it regardless, given we both have some free time. But it will be more enjoyable if we could pursue it in your company. Oh yeah, that sounds like fun. I've been itching to spend more time with you, Hiroki. Yes, of course you have. My own energy stores have been dwindling, but going on a date should restore me back to tip-top condition. What do you say? I turn my options over for a few moments and then... Sure, I'd love to go out with you two. Just lead the way. I still feel rattled. It's true, but spending time with Marina and Hazel should be enough to restore my spirits. I'm counting on them to cheer me up. It's not hard to be cheerful, really, while Hazel's in company, expecting the occasion when she got to me to go drive with her is. Now that's an experience I'd rather not relive. It's at both Hazel and Marina's behest that an hour later I find myself in a pleasant cafe in Rosenberg. The cafe is one that specializes in sweets and taking advantage of their expensive menu. My 2 dates ordered an expensive amount of food. I hadn't thought Marina, being a mature woman, would have such a sweet tooth, or Hazel, that for that matter, who was her career as a sportswoman, to fuss about it. Hazel's a health nut, and she's always been one to say the prices of fresh fruits and veggies. She goes for jogs every morning too, and can be found most days practicing her serves on the tennis courts. It's a rare surprise, therefore, that Hazel's and Marina looks as excited as they do about all the sweets they've ordered. Their enthusiasm is such, however, that it's almost infectious. Hazel's practically salivating. Marina's eyes are lit up like a small child's case and point. Oh, oh wow, this cheesecake is adorable. Look at all these little strawberries. It's to die for. Especially those racks on the... Oh my gosh, these huge racks on the table. This chocolate sundae is the most exquisite too. The ice cream is very sweet, but the counterbalances perfectly by this sauce, which is somewhat tart. I wondered if it was made with dark chocolate. Whoever prepared this dish must be an artisan skilled indeed in the culinary arts. I am most satisfied. Same here, Japanese desserts are great and all, but there's something extra special about all these European ones. I feel like I'm going back to my roots. I might as well be in America again. Huh, now that Hazel mentions it, I guess she was brought up in America. Hazel's fondness of sugar is starting to seem a lot less out of character now. I'm still surprised by Marina though. Can you really eat all that? Usually I eyed the array of desserts and spread before us on the tabletop. Cute slices of cake and fluted glasses of sundae dotted on her here and there like flowers in the field. Seems like a bit of excessive. Oh, Hiroki, Hazel pouts. You gotta live a little. We're on holiday, you know. It's fine to be excessive every once in a while. Besides, Hazel flexed her muscles. Eating all this gives me an excuse to work out even harder this evening. I'll burn all this sugar off. Just you wait and see. Yes, indeed. I do not often indulge in sweets, but I am not opposed to them in theory. And I enjoy indulging in delicious decadent chocolates just as much as the next woman. The richer the better. I cannot say I'm much of a fan of white chocolate, though it is overly sweet for my liking. The tartness you get from high-graded chocolate, however, really is divine. My taste buds feel as though they are in heaven. Mine too. I'm ascending. This is incredible. You've got to try some of this, Hiroki. You might as well sample some of this too. Come on, dear. Don't be shy. Don't you wish to taste my chocolate? Well, of course you are chocolate yourself, but I wouldn't mind. Both Hazel and Marina proffer me their spoons, which are laden with desserts. Hazel beams while Marina smiles seductively. These two sure look like they're having fun. I'm glad taking our trip to Astoria as a chance to cut loose for once, but isn't this the kind of brazen? I glance about the cafe surreptitiously, my brow furrowed. You two are both famous. Anybody could be watching us, especially after that fiasco at the airport. I don't want to give the general public even more scandalous pictures to solve it over. You care for my reputation that much, dear. How very sweet. Marina giggles. Truly, you are even more delectable than these cakes. Please don't worry your head, pretty head, though, darling. I don't care one jot what the general public thinks of me or my relations. As a grown woman, I ought to be allowed to see whoever I want. What I do in my time off is nobody's business but my own. I'll not let anybody cow me. Same here, I'm always in the papers anyways, on my account of my unique playing style. By unique playing style, I presume Hazel's talking about her fondness of showing up on the tennis court sans underwear. Sans underwear? When I first began researching Hazel Williams, before I had the chance to meet her in person, I saw all sorts of interesting images of her circulating on various internet search engines. There were a bunch of images, to be more precise, of her pleated skirt flip up in mid-match. Though people were engaged in pretty fierce debates across all sorts of internet forums as to whether Hazel wore peach-colored underwear or whether she was really going to commando under her tennis skirt. I guess Hazel's accustomed to rumors being spread about her, not just about her romantic partners. It's a known fact that Hazel's bi, but about her nether regions. She's literally, it's obvious she's bi. I don't care if people want to gossip about me. It's an old hat at this point. I'm so used to it, it doesn't bother me at all. Not in the slightest. It would appear Hazel and I are on the same page. We neither of us care what the public think, and neither should you. Now, please do not let your anxiety spoil our holiday. I'm not in the boardroom at the present, so would you prefer to enjoy myself? Will you not let me feed you, darling? What? And me? Say, Open up. Hold up. Alright, alright. I calculate after a pause. I can see that I'm not going to win against these two as opponents. They're way too formidable. Left with no other options, or it seems to. I open my mouth obligingly so Hazel and Marina can feed me. Both women lean forth, their chests pressing against the table as I take advantage of my servility. Hazel feeds me first with a piece of tarts. Strawberry shortcake. Marina follows suit with a spoonful of ice cream or sundae. I swallow both sweet treats, savoring them upon my tongue. Once they're both consumed, I say while smiling, "Hey, that really is good. I told you so. Can you see now why I was so enthusiastic earlier? The desserts at this place are truly top class. They are well suited for such a lady such myself." Yeah, I can see it now. These desserts are like nothing I've ever tasted before. It's almost better than the food back in the palace. Speaking of which, hey you two, I have something to confess. Oh, Marina truly raises one needy, plucky eyebrow. And what might this be? It's about Elizabeth. Look, I know I'd mentioned this before, but I frown. I really do think that she's flirting with me. In fact, after all that transpired in the bathroom this morning, I don't think there's any might about it. Elizabeth was being pretty insistent about the whole affair. Elizabeth says she's just being attentive, like any maid should be, but I think she's taking things too far. She's being pretty intense about it, actually. Intense, you say? Marina grins. Well, I'm not surprised. You are irresistible after all, darling. Do you really think so? To Succubus like us, yes. Your scent is even more appealing than all these lovely desserts, and you ought to know after sampling them how wonderful they are. Marina's right about that. I was bowled over like the first time you met. I never met anybody with a scent quite like this, like yours before. Guy or girl, you're super special, Roki. Whether Elizabeth is Succubus or not remains to be seen. But if she likes you as you claim she does, perhaps you ought to console her. And by consoling you mean, I think you know what I'm implying. What? Maria's knowing smile widens. Your harem is so extensive you might as well add another conquest to its ranks. I don't mind. Do you really think I'm capable of pleasing yet another woman? My hands are full already. If you were a lesser man, I would say no. But you are not a lesser man, Hiroki. You are the man I am in love with. Any man who has earned my favor such as you must be far above average. I know from my experience, your stamina is most impressive. I am certain you can do it. Me too. Go, Hiroki. I'll be cheering you on. Dear God. Why pursue another woman? Why not? You only live once. Well, that is true. She is right about that. Besides, Elizabeth's cute. I wouldn't mind getting to know her a little better myself. Maid outfits are the best. I sigh. I should have known you'd react like that. You can't help yourself, can you, when pretty women are involved? Guilty as charged. As for myself, I would welcome the competition. Another suitor for your hand might usher in. It would keep me on my toes, if nothing else. I would hate to be assured of your continued feelings for me, for therein lies complacency, and in complacency, desolation. That is all how relationships end, and even the very passionate ones. If one person stops trying, it's all over. Oh boy. Fortunately, I have never been one to back down from the challenge. It keeps me young. Me too. I wouldn't have been an athlete if I don't love the thrill of a fair fight. I like my relationships to be the same. They're more fun when they're unpredictable. The rush of adrenaline I get when I'm with you, Hiroki, just as good as the buzz I get while on the field. I never know if another woman will come out of the woodwork to try to steal you away. In fact, I think it's been a little quiet on the front lately. The status quo could use a bit of shaking up. I think my life's been pretty thoroughly shaken as it is. After meeting all of you Succubus, I shake my head bemused. I'm not sure what I was expecting. I thought to bring up Elizabeth's advances. Were I in a normal relationship, I'm sure in any hypothetical girlfriend would be upset at Elizabeth's conduct. Marina and Hazel's, however, seem to be taking this as some kind of a game. I suppose that's because they're Succubus. Their way of thinking must be a little different from that of the ordinary woman's. I would be very much like it if your relationship with Elizabeth were to be blossom, if only because it will make our time together all the sweeter. However, here Marina frowns. Magnanimous as I am, not even I am hopefully immune to envy. Oh? I blink. It looks like the waters in which I'm treading aren't quite as untroubled as first I thought. Do you have a problem with this, Marina? I would not call it a problem, per se. I would not begrudge you if you wish to spend more time with this saucy maid, although, Marina pouts. I would like it if you could lavish some attention upon me, too, from time to time. Same here. Marina and I have known you way longer than Elizabeth, so we should get first dibs on your body. We might be on a date right now, but that's not nearly enough to satisfy me. Why do we all have some fun together? I think I know what Hazel's implying when she says fun, but just to double check, are you propositioning me, Hazel? Maybe I am. What of it? Hazel grins. It's been ages since I last got to spend any real time with you, Hiroki. I want to enjoy our date to the fullest. Me too. I might be too early to indulge in such relations. It is not much later than midday, but I have never been one to care for conventions. Now we've eaten, I've got to work off all these calories. As I do, I've a meeting scheduled tonight. And I would like to take this as an opportunity to divest myself in all accumulated stress. Fortunately, I imagine such impulses might strike me beforehand, and I have already gone to the effort of booking a hotel room. Now, Marina surveys me from across the table, her green eyes glinting. Those look aqua color, the 3DS. The aqua 3DS, her eye color. Marina's just like green as the grass. Shall we? It has been so long since last I indulged myself in your affections, darling. I'm all quivered with anticipation. Let us make today's date one which we shall remember for good long while to come. Yes. A handful of days later, I find myself sitting once more in the parlor as I have many times before, watching yet another Kuroda match playing out between Stefania and Hifumi. Elizabeth's acting as their reciter. As per usual, she reads out the poems in her smooth, rhythmic voice. Her Japanese as proficient as any, despite her distinctive Western looks. Elizabeth reads out poems after poem until, but now I know the true meaning of love. Hifumi reaches out, ever glance elegant despite her hates, and smacks her palm down on the card on her side of the field. With this successful claim, Hifumi wins their match. Though several cards remain in play, the goal between Stefania and Hifumi is now too great for Stefania to overcome it. Stefania's defeat is a crushing one. It's all over. If Stefania were less chipper, I imagine she might bemoan the outcome of this match. But is it to be? Instead, smiling brightly, Stefania says, "That was incredible, mistress. You really are a sight to behold. Watching you claim the cards is so very invigorating. It makes my heart pound within my breast. Your emotions are so graceful. You are akin to poetry yourself. While I do not enjoy losing, it is most vexing I have yet to make more progress. I can accept my defeat when it is at your hands. Your most worthy opponent I can ever hope to face." Well, I thank you. I'm gratified to hear that you enjoy our bouts. But please, do not be over-critical of yourself. I believe that you have made progress, though you yourself may not be able to see it. These things are slow, that is all. There is no need to rush. I shall be here for weeks longer. During this time, I will impart upon you all I know. Oh, mistress, you're very good to me. I am as good to you as you deserve. You are very sweet. dear Stefania. I cannot help but wish to spoil you. While I regard you just like a little sister, being your little sister might be so bad. I am an only child. I have often wondered what it would be like to have siblings. But no. Stefania shakes her head, her blazing with her determination. I cannot afford to regard you as family, mistress. Not when your skills are so superior to mine. That will only serve to confuse our roles. For the present, I am not to be a humble challenger, though I hope in time I may one day be able to surpass you. To that end, Stefania snaps a finger in Hifumi's direction. Would you be interested in facing against me once more in an official capacity? More official? Hifumi tilts her head curiously, one hand resting upon her cheek. And what matters do you mean? I was thinking it might be nice, before you leave, if we could ever televise one of our Kuruta match across Astoria. As Astoria's princess, I can make this eventuality come to pass. I need only petition my parents, and they will bring a camera crew here forthwith. Whether I win or lose is immaterial. I want only through the publicization of our tournament and to introduce more of our country folks to the joys of Japanese culture and, of course, to Kuruta. As the sports ring queen, there's nobody more appropriate to showcase the joys of Kuruta than you. What do you say, mistress? Would you care to grant me this favor? My. Hifumi surveys Stefania for a few moments, unblinking before her eyes creasing in the corners. She smiles. You sound as though you have given this proposed venture quite a lot of thought. Maybe a little. Stefania demurs, while pressing her index finger together. I'm quite fond of Kuruta, in case you hadn't noticed. At this point, I think we have to be blind not to notice, and deaf too. I remember under my breath, for nobody's benefit but my own, Hifumi and Stefania don't seem to have heard me. They're too lost in their own little world. I am aware of your feelings, Stefania, and I think they are most admirable. There are few people in this world who dedicate themselves so earnestly to their passions. That is why I enjoy playing Kuruta with you so. Your desire to improve remains unwavering despite your many losses. You are truly hardworking, and I would like to reward your efforts. I think you deserve it. Oh? Stefania stares at Hifumi for her eyes wide. Does that mean you'd be willing to grant my wish, mistress? But of course, I will be more than happy if one of our competitions was broadcast across Astoria. I am not, as you should know, camera shy, given my occupations as an actress, and indeed, if Hifumi approaches me, then winds her arm through mine. My relations with Hiroki here will happen to be a photographer. I rather enjoy being the center of attention, though that may seem a touch narcissistic. Hifumi giggles. I will also enjoy making you happy, dear Stefania, and this seems an easy enough way to go about it. Thank you for your kind invitation. I, too, believe that this will be a lot of fun. This is going to be a fun match. Kuruta. With Hifumi and Stefania's negotiations completed, the pair of them then sit in a parlor to partake in the spot of the afternoon tea. I joined them at Stefania's behest and soon found myself nursing a cup of Darjeeling poured by Elizabeth, an expert hand. Darjeeling exudes a fragrant aroma, its mirror-like surface, a rich, deep, amber hue. When I bring teacup to my lips and sip, I'm pleasantly surprised at just how delicious the tea is. While I'm partial to tea, I'm more of a green tea sort of guy. I don't really go in for all of these fancy blends, and I know precious a little about the difference between Darjeeling and, say, Kilimanjaro. Manjaro. Despite my ignorance, however, about the type of tea other than matcha. However, even I can appreciate how delicious this tastes. It really is good. I exhale rejuvenated as the earthy, slightly sweet taste of Darjeeling washes over my tongue. Do all members of Astoria royal family partake in fancy tea times like this? If so, I was born into the wrong social stratum. Heck, the wrong country. Maybe I make a good European novel myself. It's a nice thought, I suppose. Though not at last, a very practical one. I'm over a Sarkozy. No matter how you slice it, I'll never up an earl or a duke, much less a king. Not unless I have to marry into the right bloodline. Getting married for the sake of drinking delicious tea seems a step too far, though. There's the three of them. What a delightful beverage this is. If only remarks after taking a sip of her own Darjeeling. This might be some of the best tea I've ever consumed, and I have partaken in any number of tea times during my time. I must offer you my compliments, Miss Elizabeth, on your brewing capabilities. Princess Sophia is most fortunate to have you in her employee. Elizabeth, who is standing sentry by the tea table, offers a neat courtesy in response. Why, thank you. You are too kind. I do not, however, require your compliments. I believe I am only acting as any maid ought. You always say that, Lizzie. You're so stiff and formal. Stefania pouts. You ought to learn how to accept a compliment. For once in your life, can't you see that mistress is trying to be nice to you? I can see that. And it is most appreciated. I would not, however, wish to cast a pall upon the proceedings by being rude. You aren't rude at all, Lizzie. It's just quite the opposite. In fact, you're much too polite. I would prefer if you would join us at the table so we could all enjoy our tea together. That would be grand. I wish you very much that we might all be friends. As kind has been offered, that is, really, I fear I must keep my distance. That is my duty as your maid. Worry not, however. Gently, Elizabeth smiled some of the ice about her pulse countenance falling. Nothing could make me happier than watching you enjoy yourself, well, lady. If you are satisfied, then I am satisfied. I am satisfied, yes, but I think you could stand to be a bit more selfish. Perish the thought, my life, as I am sure you know, is dedicated to your service, lady. Please use me as you wish. Worry not about my own feelings. They are immaterial. Now, Elizabeth gazed sweep along the table. What of your pastries? Would you care to partake in them? The cook made them especially to pair with your tea. There's apricot jam to go with them too. I can prepare your croissant for you, lady, if you wish. Oh no, it's fine. I can spare my own jam and butter myself. I'm not a little child anymore. Please forgive me, then I shall leave you to it. If you wish to be alone with your companions, please do not hesitate to call me. However, you should have further needs of my service. As always, I shall hasten to fly to your side without delay. Remember, lady, that no request of yours could ever burden me. So saying, Elizabeth turns on her heels and then vacates the parlor. Finally watched her go. Her green eyes focus upon her maids retreating back to size. Fluids here on this side looks at Stefania and says, "Are you quite alright, Stefania, dear? I am fine, I suppose. I had a good game of Moruno with you, mistress. I enjoyed myself immensely. I wish I only that Lizzie would be less formal. I know that she's doing her job, yet I do not like to think that I am yet another duty that she must attend to." Stefania hangs her head, then begins to trace the rim of the teacup with her fingertips. I know that Lizzie cares for me. She makes it quite apparent, but the way she cares is incredibly stiff. Does she always talk to you like that? Not all the time, no. Lizzie is far less formal when we're alone together. Around others, however. Stefania shakes her head. Oh well, I ought not to take umbrage at Lizzie, so I know she means the best for me. She is in fact my dearest friend in the palace. None of the other servants speak to me as Lizzie does. Not in my bedchamber, and certainly not before guests. They all keep their distance, a fact I cannot fault them for. They can hardly treat me as an equal, given I am a princess. My social status is so immense, most people cower before it. I understand that, but a Dolores Stefania reaches for a golden brow, croissant arranged artfully upon a plate in the center of the table, and liberates it. She cuts the croissant open with a silver blade of her knife that applies a generous amount of apricot jam upon it. Well, there seems a little point in crying over spilled milk. It was lonely growing up in the palace, yes, but I was never wholly alone. I had my parents, and of course I had Alicia. My upbringing has been privileged, really. I know few live in the service as I do. Having a little in the way of friends seems a small price to pay for my good fortune. Furthermore, the palace is far livelier now than it was. I am most happy that I was afforded the opportunity to make your acquaintance, mistress. Savannah inclines her head in Hifumi's direction. And yours too, Miss Ogurasawa. Spending time with you, the pair's view is most diverting indeed. I cannot recall the last time I had such fun. And well, isn't that a sweet sentiment? I wonder how I should reply. Meeting you've been kind of awkward, but I'm glad I was able to meet you. Oh, Violet blinks at me. Her green eyes bright with emotion. You are? Oh, of course. I smile at her. You're very cute after all, and not only that, you're incredibly kind. Spending time with you in the story has been an honor. My. Savannah blushes in response to my compliments, her cheeks turning bright. You're too kind. I can't remember the last time a man who hasn't my own father has ever been so nice to me. This might be the first time, in fact. I've been horribly sheltered in this palace, as you know, but as a part of beings, I had many new experiences, all thanks to meeting you. I am in your debt. Thus says, Savannah picks up a piece of croissant between her fingertips and pops it into her mouth. She chews in swift, almost defiant motions, and upon swallowing exclaims, "My, this is wonderful. The pastry is so light and flaky. It's positively melts upon my tongue. The pair of you must try this pastry, too. In fact, I insist upon it. Please eat. Do it. I would be crying shame if you were to waste something so yummy. Let us all eat and be happy together. As princess, I command it. I would not permit you any say in the matter." The rest of the day passes in blur. Before I know it, I find myself lying in the bed in a vast, luxurious chamber. The events of the last few days have left me feeling pretty tired. I feel like I could drift off to sleep at any given moment. But my mind, alas, is occupied with too many uneasy thoughts. I can't help but to think of that conversation I had with Elizabeth a few days ago, and after that, my discussion with Marina and Hazel. Marina and Hazel seem to not care about my popularity, but it's beginning to worry me. Now that the word has gotten out in the press about my relationships with Hifumi, Marina and Hazel, I shudder to think what might happen in the future. What would happen to Ayu if the public got the wind of our affair? Idols, unlike actress and businesswomen and tennis champions, aren't allowed to have relationships. I'm afraid that Ayu's career would be put on a indefinite hold if she found herself embroiled in a scandal. I'm worried too about Cosmos. Though she isn't idle like Ayu is, her career is in a similar, precautious position. She makes her living via selling suggested photos of herself online to a huge retinue of loyal fans. It is if fans, the mass majority of them guys learned their adorable Cosmos was in a dedicated relationship with another man, I'm afraid they might abandon her. I don't want to risk ruining Ayu Cosmos' reputations. I'm worried too about what my parents must think about this whole debacle. I'm not called my mother says earlier. Board attempts to fess up and attempt to cut short by Ayu. I know I should attempt to explain everything again, but what with our current time zones different, and my own incessant exhaustion, I don't have the mental energy. I'm afraid any further explanations on my part would be incredibly awkward. There's also my reputation at work to consider, which was already precarious. Enough without my complex tangible and interpersonal relationships becoming so widely well. I've never been the sort of guy to crave the limelight. If given a chance, I'd much rather slug it to the shadows. That's why I've always dreamed since I was a young boy of being a photographer. To show off the best attributes of other people, not my own. I'm critical though. It might have sound I've never really liked having my own photo taken. What will come off my future? I become a person of someone, of something own. I almost shudder to think of it. I like to imagine the general public having better things to do than seethe over an average guy like me. But if I were to check the web, I bet it's full of people slandering me. It has an awful lot of fans, as do as Marina Hazel. I guess this is the price I've got to pay for going out with so many high-profile women. I feel so worried. I've half a mind to get up and take a stroll. That might help me relax if nothing else. But after giving it some thought, I decided against it. I'm a guest at this palace. No matter how welcome Stefania might be, making me, and I don't want to wander through the hallways at night. I'd be better served stay put in my room. It's with this thought in my mind that I turn over in bed, covers shifting around me. Then sigh, my lids fall shut. Thinking for my Succubus companions of Stefania and her mysterious maid Elizabeth. I'm not sure what tomorrow will bring, but it seems certain my adventures in the story are far from over. It's with this knowledge in my mind that sleep at long last descends upon me. It twines its arms around me, settling over my body like snow, and the last vestiges of my consciousness fades away. Well, that is the end. Wow, we got to the end of this video. I'll just let you guys see the end credits here. So this is all the people. Zach Parrish, good with the music. This guy's the best, Zach Parrish. Thank you for playing. Alright. Well, that is the end, everyone. We've reached the end of this series on this game. Alright, everyone, that is the end of Sakura Succubus 5. And Sakura Succubus 6 should be coming out somewhere between July, August, and September. Between those 3 months, the 6th version will be out by then. So that'll be like in a couple of months, so yeah. So that is it for today's video, everyone. So thank you everyone for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.